Namah Shivaya. Hello, children. Welcome back to another episode where we continue our journey through the inspiring life of Sri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Mahaswami ji. In each story, we uncover how his wisdom, compassion, and dedication shaped the lives of many people. So, today we are going to explore some incredible incidents from his life. So, this incident happened in 1924. There is a place called Tiruvayur. It is on the banks of the Kaveri river. So some of the people from Tiruvayur came to Paramacharya ji and they requested him to perform Vyasa Puja in their place. So Vyasa Puja is nothing but it's a kind of worship that is done to the spiritual guru. So this puja is performed on a mandap which is on the banks of the Kaveri river. So many people from the nearby villages started coming to get a darshan of Paramacharya. This was done in Chaturmasya, and as I already mentioned, it was the season of rainfall. So because of the heavy rains, Kaveri started overflowing with floods. As I already mentioned, this puja is taking place in a mandap which is on the banks of the Kaveri river. So the flood water started coming into the puja mandap. So the people of this Tiruvayur requested Paramacharya to move the puja to another place. But Swami said that the puja cannot be moved during the Chaturmasya for any calamity or for any other reason. The puja cannot be moved. People started worrying about this while he still continued his prayers in the same place. And to make things worse, this flood grew and it spread across different villages. So the huts of the poor people were completely immersed in the flood water. So they started to move to a higher elevated places where the flood water will not be there. So they took all their goats, cows, their children, the elderly people. They took all of them and moved to some higher places. Parmacharya was very compassionate about these people. True devotion is not just prayer, it is actually in action. So Parmacharya took immediate action. In the mutt premises every day Annadhanam used to take place. So he requested that Annadhanam to be reduced and instead he asked that food to be redirected to the flood victims. So huge vessels of food were cooked daily and that was taken to these affected areas. And this distribution was organized very efficiently by all the local volunteers and the leaders over there. And this happened not just for 1 or 2 days, but for continuous 15 days. They gave food, they gave the required care, and whatever help is required, that was given to them until the waters receded. So, with this, the poor villagers were deeply grateful to Parmacharya for his timely intervention and the help that was provided. So, when others are in need, we must act quickly and selflessly. That is the lesson that we have to learn from this. Even a small act of kindness can change someone's life. There was another incident that took place in the same year. Paramacharya visited Vallam, which is a village near Tanjore. So the entire village came to welcome him. All the Hindus, Muslims, and Christians, everybody came together to welcome him. He was taken in a grand procession seated on an ivory palanquin. People were cheering with joy, believing that his presence would bless them and also their town. So, after reaching the mutt, he gave a message. Just listen to the message. He said, all of you live in harmony. Settle all the disputes among yourselves. If there is any problem, settle it among yourselves. Never let the matters escalate to the courts. So you can see that he was spreading the message of unity. And this message stands good even to this date. In fact, if we look at the situations in the present day, this message is more relevant to us. And regarding religion also, he has given a very good message. He said, whatever be the religion, everyone should follow their own religion as per the rules prescribed in their religion. This is the same message that is given in Bhagavad Gita. Swadharme nidhanam shreyah paradharmo bhayavaha. Swadharma is our own dharma. So you should always follow your own dharma. Paradharmo bhayavaha. It means others' dharma, whatever it is good or bad, it is always dangerous for you. So please don't go into other religion. Whatever religion you are, you just try following that. That was his message. He also said one more thing. He said Christians and Muslims tend to follow their religious practices more than the Hindus. See, even now you can see that the Christians and Muslims generally follow their religious practices. That is a good thing, and we should also learn from that. So he was telling that Hindus should learn this aspect from Christians and Muslims, and everybody should follow their own religion. So we can see that a great leader always unites people, no matter their background. Also, respecting each other's beliefs makes a society stronger. Now let's know about another incident from Paramacharya's life. See, Paramacharya was not just a spiritual leader, but he is also a scholar and a researcher. There was a book called Raffles History of Java. So, this book is about 2000 pages, and Paramacharya has previously read this book. As I said, the book's name is History of Java, Raffles History of Java. So, Java is an island in Indonesia. So, after reading all such books, Paramacharya found that Indian culture and the practices were prevalent even in Java and Bali Islands in Indonesia. He also understood that there are many temples in Indonesia for Vinayaka, Lord Shiva, Ambika, and Lord Vishnu. All these temples are just like the temples in South India. However, unfortunately, Hinduism disappeared there after a few years and Islam became the national religion. Paramacharya was very interested in all these things, and whenever there are people who are visiting from those places, he used to inquire about the ancient culture and the practices that are still being followed and all those things. And once it happened that a troop from Java visited Chennai. That time it was Madras. So they played scenes from Ramayana and Mahabharata. Swamiji was so impressed by that and he sent many gifts portraying the Indian culture to them. And also they requested for a photograph of Swamiji and he has given that also. See, nowadays with the advent of internet, it has become very easy for us to get any picture. But in those days, getting a picture of Swamiji itself is the blessing. It's the prasad. The head of that troop was so happy with all this and he was so moved. He invited Paramacharya to visit Indonesia. You all might have heard of Thomas Cook and Co. It's a famous travel company that was existing even in those days. So they heard about this invitation that this troop leader has invited Paramacharya to Indonesia, and that company has offered to organize his journey, knowing that he is interested in all these historical sites. Though Paramacharya never traveled there, his passion for preserving Indian heritage inspired many future scholars and devotees to explore these cultural connections with Indonesia, and not only Indonesia, in many South Asian countries. If you are also interested, you can just browse the internet, you get all the information where Hinduism was spread across, not just India, because right now we look at India as a very confined country, but if we look at the ancient history of India, we can see that most of these countries followed Hinduism. So, from the three incidents that I shared with you today, you might have understood for what all aspects Swamiji has given importance to. The first one, when I told about the Kaveri floods, you see, when he was asked to move the puja, he said it is not correct, the puja should be here. So, he was following all the rules that were there in the religion. At the same time, when he saw that there are many people who are affected with floods, he tried helping them, and that shows his humanity. In the same way, when he went to another village, he spoke about different religions and how people should be united. So that shows his religious tolerance. And from the last thing that I've told about Java and Indonesia, he was so interested in the history of ancient India and Hinduism and our roots. We generally have an impression that all the Swamijis or these Peethadipatis were only interested in doing some pujas and they confine themselves to a particular ashram or a room. But that is not true. If you look at the life of Paramacharya, you will know that He has traveled extensively, he met many people, and he tried giving an impact to the society. He tried helping thousands of people. That is what we should learn from him. So, if we can try taking a bite or two from his life and implement it in our life, the very purpose of our life will be served. So, thank you for listening this podcast and join us again in the next episode as we explore another inspiring moment from the life of Paramacharya. So, until then, stay kind, stay united, and keep learning. Have a good day. Bye bye.